For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast with over 50 years of playing PlayStation, like 15 years in that games me combined. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below. If
you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist. When we watch us record this show live, we can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, can at patreon.com/thepopculturists. Oh, man. How are you, man? Let's go. Hey, how's things?
Things are thinging.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything to report?
It's all right. Not really. Week two of school's done.
Oh, party. All right.
Now,
following the escapades of last week's update, where I was like, touch upon it, and then 10 minutes later, we're still making fun of your classmates. How'd this week go?
The big thing this week was, they're like, now that our assignments are unlocked, we can kind of just work ahead onto those. But a lot of them have group activities as part of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way we currently have to get in contact with other people in our class is via our student emails. Because for some reason, our Zoom meeting is set to everyone can see it or just the teacher can see it. You can't direct message people through Zoom for some reason.
Okay.
He just hasn't checked that box.
Good IT teaching.
And he's like, I can set something up for you, but then if I set it up for you, it has to have all regulations and policies that Victoria University puts into place because it would be because I made it. It's a VU.
It's an extension of what he does.
Yeah. So I'm like, and just spammed the link in chat constantly throughout the week.
What link?
And I made a Discord server
sorry,
channel.
You cut out for a hot second. So you just went, and then straight to,
Right.
I just spammed.
Am I gonna have to fix my noise gate thing again?
No, it should be right.
Probably. But yeah, I made a Discord channel.
Yep.
And then just spammed the link in chat all week. Currently 28 of the 38 students have connected, which is cool.
And how many of them have used Discord before?
Clearly a fair few of them, because like they all joined, they all waved, they're like, "This was a great idea, thank you for making it," and then I quickly muted that channel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm in a stack of Discords already, and we have one that was made by someone else, not by us, but made by a fan back in the day, Chris Conway. If you still listen, love you long time.
Because I just cannot be bothered getting constantly bombarded with messages.
Exactly, I did the same thing. I bet it's weird. I should love Discord, but I don't.
I really only use Discord for its voice capabilities. To be honest with you.
We use it to record here, but even then, I was thinking about switching to Riverside. Because Riverside Riverside's another platform.
What the fuck is Riverside?
It's a platform designed for podcasts.
It sounds like a really dingy suburb.
It was a song back in the day, like Riverside, motherfucker. That's right. Oh wait, baby. Actually, that would have been like, it'd be about 08, 09. Yeah. So
why did I always hang on? Why did I always think it said "step aside, motherfucker"?
Well, the song's called Riverside.
I don't know.
It's not Riverdale, as Mute asked in the chat. Yeah, so it's software similar to what we'd use Discord for here, is we have the video call and we capture it. Except what it does, it has built-in things that could make shorts for us.
Okay.
It's what I use to record Down Under the Ring, which is the wrestling show I've been a part of for a while with a good friend, Finn Shippy. Yeah, I might give it a try. See if it costs dollars, then fuck it.
Okay, well, the long story short of why I did a Discord channel is because one, it's free, and two, you don't have to actually download any software to use it because Discord can be run inside a browser.
Yes. Oh, yes, it can.
So I'm like, no one needs to download anything. You just got to click the link. You just got to join. You make a username. You're done. Super simple.
Yeah. So I know it's a complete tangent, but yeah, having shorts be something that we really need to do. It's riverside.fm if curious.
Lies. It's riverside.com.
What the fuck's riverside.fm then? That's something else. Oh. But yeah, like,
there is a big button that says start for free, which leads me to believe that there is a
start
cost.
for free, lame. I don't want nothing to do with that. Get out of here. I don't want to start with free. I want to be free all the time. Hi everyone, we're currently looking at Riverside on a fucking website instead of doing a
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm definitely not looking
No,
at it.
I actually did it too. This whole time, I'm like, I've got my monitor on my left. I'm kind of doing side
My face is like blowing out on this side because for some reason this is not a dark web page. Well, now it's taking me to riverside.fm.
There we go.
It started at .com. Anyway.
But yeah, schools, other than that, like, have you hit any point? Have you steamed ahead yet?
No, now I've looked at all my assessments that I need to do, and I've just decided that what I'm going to do is instead of following along with the class during class time, I'm just going to spend my 3 hours doing my assessments.
So you're not going to go to classes anymore?
I'll still go, and I'll have it open.
Yeah.
But I'll be, instead of following along on the slides, I'll just be working on the assessment.
Just doing what you already know.
Yeah, because we've been told that the last 2 weeks of each unit are basically blocked out for assessment time work.
Yeah.
And if I've already done it and submitted it, I just get a bigger break.
Woo.
This is like, once you've done the assessment, I'll check it straight away. Like, I'm not going to wait until assessment time to check them. And he's like, and if I'm happy with it, you just don't bother coming in anymore until the next unit.
Fucking A. That's a good win.
So the incentive is to finish it early because then I just can chill.
Yeah. But wouldn't that then detract you from, like, break that routine for the next season?
No, because I'd probably come in and, well, the next season. The next season is coding, so I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that, I think.
Okay.
I think it's just this initial one that's been boring because it's just network admin stuff that I've already done.
That's fair. That's
So,
fair.
yeah.
Outside of that, though, like, not much going on with me. This week's been pretty chill, just working. I did get to work over in Pakenham and Berwick, so the other side of the city. This week, that was fun. Caught up with some family. Watched the NRL game with them. Watched, what was it? Broncos versus Storm. And very similar to when I watched State of Origin, was it last year or the year before? I got really into it. Like, NRL is actually an interesting sport. Mostly because it's very similar to NFL. It's just, let's watch people run at each other and see how far they can move a ball. And
Yeah.
there is absolutely a little bit of wrestling interest in there, of just the physicality of it. As when they do their little huddle at the start of each of their downs, I think they're called, where they just roll the ball, see how fast this guy can run into a group of dudes, then they stop, roll the ball, just go again. And, like, there's very little downtime. Compared to, like, a game of AFL, which is, 4 20-minute quarters, plus 15 minutes between each quarter, the first, second, third, fourth. There's a half hour between the second and the third, and the half hour time. So the games really feel like they can take ages. And, of course, the other real sport that I've really enjoyed a lot of was baseball, and that shit goes for ages. Like 9 innings, 3 hitters, 3 strikes per hitter, upwards of 4 balls in 3 strikes per hitter. It's a long stretch. But shout out to the Detroit Tigers, might I add. A team I haven't followed in many, many years. But they were good ones. What else? Anything else happened this week? Wazza in the chat. Hey, what's going on, man? Have you seen Banana Ball? That sounds like a sex thing. But you know what I have seen a lot of, actually, and it opened up here recently, just down the road from my house. Pickleball. I think that's a big old trend at the moment. I don't know what it is.
Isn't Banana Ball that ridiculous baseball game where they have all like the niche teams with a gimmick.
Niche teams with a gimmick.
Yeah, there was one that was like they did like dance offs before all their pitches, and is that? Am I thinking of the right
What?
thing, or am I just completely like just not on the ball?
Pickleball's like tennis, says Mute. Reverend Puck, Wazza comes in. It's baseball, but with walkout music. Oh, well, baseball has walkout music, but it's not like an entrance, like a WWE entrance.
Okay,
That
I'm
level
thinking
of
of the right thing. It's all good.
yeah, that level of pageantry is right up my bullshit, though. Or if the crowd catches a foul ball, it's an out. Ooh, that changes things. Interesting. It's kind of
It is very visual noisy.
yeah, it's kind of like AFL's fine, but then they do, what is it called, Gaelic football, where they kind of do Aussie rules mixed with a little bit, they've got like a round ball. You can get like 9 points instead of 6 and 3s and 1s. And there's a net, there's a soccer net in the fucking 4 goalposts, and that's worth more somehow. I don't know. It's a blast to watch because I don't fucking know what's happening at any moment in time. It's probably why I like NRL too. I'm like, what's going on? Why is that guy clearly dead and no one's doing anything? It's like, oh no, his arm touched the ground before the ball did, so they can keep playing. I'm like, but he's dead.
Play on, mate. Play on.
Yeah, just play on. He's fine. It's not bleeding. He's cool. But yeah, let me think. No, that might be it. There's not much else really going on. But what? So let's just jump straight into the old section of what have we been playing? What have we been playing?
The big thing I've been playing this week is the Battlefield 6 beta.
Oh, let's jump into that.
I have not really played a first-person shooter competitively, like in a hot minute. I have been looking forward to Battlefield, with this one being more akin to. They said that they used Battlefield Bad Company 2 as their reference point for this one.
Good.
Bad Company 2 being the best one in the series, in my opinion, because there was just everything was destructible. It's not quite on that level, unfortunately, but it is much more destructible than that of previous iterations of the Battlefields. I can no longer play these games. I am too old. I do not have the reflexes anymore that I'm slightly more blind than I used to be. All of that. I did play with some friends last night for about 3 hours. I did have some fun. I'm still doing better than them, which is good. Right? It strokes my ego a little bit that despite the fact that these guys play these types of games all the time, I still hold my own. It feels good. It turns out that I play way too much Call of Duty back in my younger years because I play Battlefield like I played Call of Duty. So I run a lot. I crouch a lot. I jump around corners like an idiot. All of those things that makes people despise Call of Duty players. I am that. The amount of times I got shotgunned by some asshole sitting in a bush not moving for 10 minutes really annoyed me because like, come on. Why are we doing this? Vehicles are still dumb. I really hate vehicles in games. I find it just unfair for someone to just roll up on me in a tank and this is nothing I can. I can't run away because I'll just drive through the building. I can't stand and fight because they'll just shoot me and I'll just tickle them with my bullets. I think it took like 4 RPG shots to take out the tank, which is ridiculous. There is only 2 maps, I believe, at the moment, or I got super unlucky and only managed to play on 2 maps in the 3 hours that I played the game. We were playing Conquest, which I think is just like the 5-point domination style gameplay. It's cool. It's fun. I look forward to it releasing. I really hope it, takes a peg out of fucking Call of Duty's step. Because I think I think one of their executives earlier this week said, what was it? Call of Duty is too big to fail at this point. And I think that's a really gross thing to have.
Well,
think about your own product.
True, and it's been that way for the longest time.
I agree.
But what I read that statement to me is that them going, previously we put all our effort into trying to match Call of Duty. Well, now that's not be Call of Duty at all. I think that's what that statement is meant to imply. Because even what I played today, which I'll let you finish your thoughts and I'll jump in because your thoughts will be way more learned than myself. But yeah, it certainly does not feel like Call of Duty.
No, that was from the Call of Duty team saying it, like, we're not scared of
Oh,
Battlefield
my
coming out
apologies.
because we're too big to fail. And I think it's gross because
That
it
is
means
gross.
they're not willing to do anything different or change because they're like, what does it matter? We can release the same trash, stick a new number on it every year, and everyone will buy it still.
Well, that changes my stance entirely on that comment.
That was the one reason why I liked Battlefield, because it wasn't trying to be Call of Duty. I also get really shitty when, everyone's playing essentially at the beginning of the beta anyway, everyone's playing the same classes, and I die from a single sniper bullet in the chest, but when I did it, it was like hit marker. Like, no, come on. I just died from that same distance. Why isn't he dying? This is bullshit. But yeah, the game's fun. It's definitely sucks solo. I hated my solo player experience. Being as you are separated into squads, you kind of have those roles that you can play. Pardon me, not that anyone does. I did enjoy my time a lot more when I was playing with friends last night as opposed to my first run through. I'll skip ahead a little bit to one of our quick bits notes. This is just for the PC side of Battlefield 6 Open Beta, but they did hit a peak concurrent player base of 521,000 on Steam over the weekend, which is higher than Call of Duty Black Ops 6's was in their entire lifespan, which is nice. So it means people are keen for this battle again now that Battlefield's been on break for so long, because I think it was like 3 or 4 years since
2042,
Battlefield
wasn't it?
was 2042 the last one, or was it Battlefield 1?
Nah,
I
2042.
don't remember. But anyway, it's been a couple of years, so I think
Battlefield
hopefully
5's
that's
in there somewhere.
we're hoping that it's out pretty soon. I think it's like September or something.
Yeah, it's real far. Oh,
Hopefully...
2042, then 5, then 1 if we're going backwards in time.
Yep. Sure. Yeah, so hopefully it comes out strong. Hopefully they realize that, because when I tried to log in on the first night of the open beta, I think I had like 210,000 people in front of me in queue.
Yeah, I had 214,000 today.
So hopefully they realize that their game is popular and they just like turn the rest of their servers on. Apparently 330,000 accounts got banned for cheating.
Ha! Yeah, I saw a lot of clips of that this week. But in terms of myself and my experience, so similar to you, I did spend a lot of time back in the day, back on the PS3 with Battlefield Bad Company, predominantly more than Bad Company 2, just by timing. My mates were really into Battlefield at that moment. And we would play the squad, and we would all have our roles, and I would switch between sniper and assault, which is great, where I like to sit. And we would have fun, and we would dominate because we were a synced up team. So diving into Battlefield 6's open beta today, at time of recording, I did just one match because I was in between playing things. I just wanted to jump in and see as we talk about on the show. A couple of things that were brought to my attention. I'm glad that the class system is returned. Big win. As I said, that influence from Bad Company is a massive advantage to re-grabbing or redrawing my interest, I guess. Yep. However, I played the large-scale fight, the 64 players, whatever it is.
Yeah, is that Conquest, or were you doing the one where it's like
there was an A and B, and I had to go, and there's only 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So you doing the one where you push forwards and you play attack or defend? Yep.
Yeah. I was doing that one. I love the concept. I like that there are so many bodies in the game at any given time. However, there is an issue that presents itself with that reason. So the game, by choosing to go the more realistic route, which is a much preferred path for myself, compared to, say, your Fortnites or whichever, or even your Call of Duties now, it did lead into a lot of challenges around seeing the competing teams, because everyone blends into everything. Like the map that I was playing was this, and then as more rubble, like there's just shit everywhere. Now, granted, that's pretty much what a war space would be. It's just rubble and shit and detritus. It's another word for debris. Just all over the joint. And if you're wearing, appropriately colored camo, yeah, you would likely be not visible. The downside to that large scale map, though, it does mean that there are a lot of paths at which you can enter the confrontation. But that also means there's a lot of ways to get into the confrontation. So it does feel like there are times where you are running, but not running fast, because the game doesn't work at the same speed as, say, Call of Duty, to get into the battle. To then get in, hunker down, or do similar to what you did, play like Call of Duty, or in this case, because I'd been playing Roblox earlier in the day with my son, and he was playing a game called Marvel Rivals, which is a, first-person shooter. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a, in like Quake, arena shooter almost. You get dropped in.
Yeah.
It's like 1v1. 2v2, 3v3, or free-for-all. But be plonked into a small arena. First to 5 wins. So playing that, where it's designed to be erratic, to then switching into Battlefield 6, I am aware that I'd set myself up poorly stepping into it. I've not primed myself correctly. And similar to what you said, playing by myself. That is a massive disadvantage in this game because teamwork is key, communication is key, and similar to what you experienced, I got downed, and there was a medic 4 meters away from me, motherfucker didn't heal me. Like, do your role. But when I did get healed, I quite like how they grab you and drag you back to safety, and then give you the junk, rather than just be like, oh, we're in the middle of the firefight still, ka-junk, hey, dead. Because that happens consistently in games like Call of Duty, etc. for me. When it releases, I will certainly be very, very keen to play it. And I think there would be some fun within, like, myself and you and maybe a couple other mates coming together. I do like that you are very slowly approaching my skill level when it comes to first-person shooters. I think
calm down.
I know. Hey, I said slowly. The fact that you can sit here and go, "Oh, I'm not as good as I once was," I'm like, "Welcome to my side, baby."
Yeah, I'm definitely not as good as I once was.
And that sucks. But I imagine in those squad-like experiences, I think it will be more enjoyable. And then that's my fault for not playing it that way. So although my impressions are like, yeah, it was really only like two matches. And then I went, I'm not really keen to play this right now.
Yeah.
But the beta is open for how much longer the beta is open for?
Till tomorrow, and then it's open again the following weekend.
All right, cool. So you and I might be able to sync some time up to at least try it as a duos, maybe.
Yep.
See how it goes. But yeah, I'm open to it. See where it takes me. Yeah.
The only other thing I've been playing this week is we got a new Everdark Sovereign in Elden Ring Nightreign. We got Caligos again, which was the big ice dragon. I have attempted it twice, and I beat it on my first attempt. The second attempt did not go to plan. None of us had any fire weapons, so the stick of the boss is essentially in its third phase. It has all these super attacks, and the only way to knock him out is set him on. And none of us had any fire weapons.
Noise-gated again.
Bloody hell. Essentially, we have to. He gets these ice super attacks, and the only way to stop him from powering up is to set him on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us had any fire-based weaponry.
That
Classic.
would be a disadvantage in this circumstance.
It was a super disadvantage because then obviously he just kept wailing on us, and we died.
By definition, a disadvantage.
Yeah, the fight itself, when we completed it on our first attempt, was nice. I don't know if this is by design, but one of the shifting earths, which is like the randomized map buff that you can get, we got the mountaintop, which just gives us a ton of like anti-dragon weaponry and to like take less damage from frostbite and all that stuff. Which means we're just guaranteed to be stronger against this boss, as it is a dragon that uses frostbite-based attacks. Mm-hmm. And every time I've picked that boss to fight, it has been the mountaintop shifting earth. I don't know if that's by design or we've just gotten lucky. But again, Elden Ring Nightreign still lives and dies by your teammates. If you're playing in trios or duos now, I don't play solos much. I'm not a fan of it in a solo sense. I do like the camaraderie that it brings wailing on bosses with allies. It's just a shame that I still don't have can never line it up nicely. So I've yet to actually play with a full group or full squad of friends as opposed to randoms on voice communication. And just people pinging everywhere on the map where they want to go. Just me being like, fine, we'll go there. I don't know why, but we'll go there.
Nice.
What about yourself? What have you been playing this week?
Yes, as I mentioned, a bit of Battlefield 6, but today I'll touch upon this now. So last week I mentioned that I finally...
You went to the dark side.
I went to the dark side. So my son has been playing a lot of Roblox as of late, and he asked me to play with him. And I made a comment like, yeah, like I was like, oh, maybe I should make an account. That'll be fun. And he was so genuinely excited that I was like, okay, I have to. So since last week, I had only played like once, maybe twice with him. But today, he had just come back from school camp. His first school camp, by the way, and apparently it went really well, which is also exciting. So he rings me this morning. Hey, Daddy, can we play some Roblox? I'm like, sure. So the two games that we have been playing are not Marvel Rivals. It's just called Rivals. So it is the arena shooter game that I mentioned earlier. It's based on duels. So it's 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. I think you can get there are more, and the stages scale in size accordingly. But it's been really fun. Now my son is a little shit and has managed to secure some Robux out of his mum. So he's got like a big string of weapons and all that sort of stuff. So we spent about over the course of today, we played two games within Roblox for about 4.5 hours. The one we spent the most in was Rivals. It's really fun. There are moments where he genuinely smashes me, and I'm like, you little shit, with all, you know, he's got them young boy reflexes. He's able to play first-person shooters at a better rate. But just seeing his progression and his improvement since when we would play Call of Duty together, and like, you know, we played the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare because they have the bot servers you can play in multi. So we done that, and just seeing how much better he is now than he has is remarkable. In a lot of, you know how we were joking before, like, oh, maybe you'll catch my level. He has surpassed my skills in that space. At least in that title, I don't know whether it's something, you know, like yourself, Max, where your FPS skills really can like flow over into other FPS games. He's at least very proficient in this one, and that's been really fun. And even getting into some dynamics with, you know, some very low level dude joined us. We were doing a 2v2. It was him and another mate, and they were both like low levels, so we smashed them immediately. But, you know, but they had the open chats. They were like, hey, look, we only started today, whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, no worries. So we just kind of, you know, scaled back a little bit. We didn't obliterate them as hard. We still smashed them, but it was nice. The other one is, what is it called? 99 Nights in the Forest. So the idea, it is ostensibly The Forest, but a much more kidified version. So the idea is that you have a campfire, and as you are required to keep that campfire running with the use of wood or coal or any other flammable items that you can find within the world. As you fill up the fire, it expands the map, allowing you to go explore further. In doing so, you can find buildings, you can find locations that will have treasure chests that will give you additional items to have a better time, whether it be a larger storage sack, a better quality axe, a spear, gun, whatever. And throughout the world, there are smaller items you collect, like carrots for food, as well as bunnies, which you can slaughter for their meat, same as wolves, etc. But the whole idea is that as the day-night cycle transitions, in the night, there is this big anthropomorphic humanoid-looking deer thing. It's like this giant humanoid deer. and it will fuck your shit up if you happen to catch it. If you happen to see it. Where if you have a flashlight, you blast light in its face and it goes away. Then there's these cultists that will come and jack up your place at any given time. While you're doing so, there are a bunch of kids that need to be saved in the area. So the incentive is to expand your fire, expand the map, find these people that you need to save, return them to your campfire, I should say, and survive as many days as you can. Really fun co-op experience with James. Even down to like, all right, well, I'm going to go run and get, my focus is I'm just going to go chop wood. I'm going to bring it back. He's like, cool, well, I'll go hunting for this. Like, nice. So he'll go look for one resource. I'll bring another, bring it back, defend the camp, and then we'll go off together to look for the kid if we have a rough idea of where this person we have to save is. So really good for both of us from a communicative standpoint. The game's easy enough to play that you can enjoy it with relative ease. The controls are simple, the gameplay's simple. Saying that though, I did run into some performance issues with it, particularly in the later days of the title. As we start to build up the camp area a bit more, it does seem to increase the resource drain. Now, on top of that, understanding that the Roblox is essentially a open source engine, and that comes with all its hang-ups. Like, not everyone is going to be as clean and sharp with it as possible, so some will run a little bit like poo. I am yet to spend any money, and I refuse to. I'm going to see how far I can get without spending a cent, because that is not my plan for these games. The idea around playing Roblox with my son is simply that. It's a great bonding thing for us, because even today, it was actually a really sweet moment. Because we'd already played for 2.5 hours earlier in the day. We came back. We had a bit of a break. Came back a bit later. Played for another 2 hours, just over 2 hours. And I said to him, I was like, Bud, like, why aren't you playing with your mates? He's like, I was playing with my mates earlier. Wouldn't you much rather play with them than your dad? He's like, nah. You're my dad. I want to play with my dad.
Gay.
No, that's my first response. I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this while I can.
Yeah. Because
I can assure you, in less than a handful of years, he's like, fuck you. You're embarrassing me, Dad.
Yeah.
But what's fun about it, I think I may have said this last week, is I know a lot of his mates' parents, they don't not condone their children playing games, obviously, but they are not as deep into it or as engaged in the spaces like as I am, or even as we are. So you'll get that advantage in the future too. Is that all his mates, like me being who I am and the things that I do, gives him a nice bit of social credit. So some of his friends are like, oh man, do you reckon I could verse your dad in Rivals one day? And he's like, yeah. And they asked me, I'm like, you'll probably beat the shit out of me. Sure, I'll take it. I'll take you on, no worries. It says there's a bit of fun in that. But it was really nice. And because even though the game is, like, both those titles are relatively simple and very straightforward, watching him and hearing, because we Facebook call each other while we're doing it, he is getting a lot of satisfaction and a lot of enjoyment out of teaching me how to play, in the same way that, like, you know, I've taught him how to play up until this point. So he's like, oh, you got to do this, and a lot of it's all general FPS shit. But to him, he's like, oh, I can't believe, you know, he's like, I get to tell you this is so cool, and it's really, really lovely, and it's really nice, and it's something I hope we get to do for a while, and I hope it's something that does roll into our lives as we get older. Because I kind of, your parents, Max, like, they've only, as we talked probably in the last year, they've only got into gaming in that time.
Yeah, well, it was purely because this is essentially what happened. They're like, oh, we've got wet seasons coming up. Dad's like, I'm going to be off work for a fair bit because can't work when it's raining and cycloning and stuff.
Yeah.
And essentially they had it like a week or two shut down with like, this, you're definitely not going to do it. And he's like, I'm going to get bored. So I'm going to buy a PS5, I'm going to buy a fucking steering wheel, I'm going to buy a VR. And then I think once he realized that he was back at work, he's like, I don't really have time.
Yeah.
But they gave it a solid build. They were playing like I think they played It Takes Two for quite some time. They got close to the end, but Dad just enjoys his racing car sims. So he played the shit out of Gran Turismo with the steering wheel. Mum's coming down soon, so he'll pull it out again because he's got the full rig, like the seat, the pedals, the steering wheel.
It makes sense that your dad's a trucker, eh? He's built. He's wired to drive cars.
It's like, you know what I want to do in my spare time when I'm not driving cars? I want to
drive more cars. Yeah.
It'd be like a train driver, like, that train driver simulator car.
Absolutely. You know what I need more trains? Yeah. So you know what would really make me feel calm right now? Trains.
So I think I keep trying to convince him to buy Forza Horizon.
Oh, absolutely, he should.
I think if he hasn't by his birthday, maybe I'll just pick it up for him for his birthday. Just like, here, Dad, play this.
Because
it is the superior car game.
I know we shouldn't say that PlayStation show and all, but it fucking is. Because it's interesting. It's very similar to my parents, right? So my dad's never been a gamer, and he probably never will be, and that's fine. Because for him, it's the idea of skyground, and he just immediately wants to vomit. But he was the one that bought me that PlayStation. That PlayStation that's behind me, for those watching the video version, that is my original PlayStation that I got in like 1996, 1997. Oh, yeah, 1997, I think that's when I got it. And he bought that for me. He knew that there's going to be something for me, even though he knew full well that he wasn't going to play it. So then my mum, who has always kind of shunned the gaming side of who I am, you know, because she was like, what's it going to amount to, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, joke's on you, bitch, I haven't played a fucking video game in years. This thing that I'm doing has opened up so many doors for me. Eat dicks. No, I say that nicely. It's one of those things, admittedly, my mum, as I've gotten older and she's seen like how a lot of that's changed, she's like, yeah, I was kind of wrong. My mum will never admit she was wrong. She's not something she can do, but she is, in her way, she's gone, this is kind of what you were meant to do. I probably shouldn't have gone against it. But then my stepfather, though, because he's a project manager for all the power plants down in regional Vic, so his job is really fucking stressful. And what he used to do was just drink a whole lot. And my mum was like, can you stop it? And he's like, what the fuck else will I do with my time? And I'm like, get a PlayStation. And he did. And like the first game he ever played was like Uncharted 4, and he fell in love with it immediately. So he doesn't drink anymore. Like he drinks for like the couple beers, but like the social aspect of drinking for him, gone. He's like, fuck you, I'm going home, and I'm going to play games. So much so that when he does travel for work, because he also does power stations up in like Townsville and Newcastle, whichever up that way. He essentially just goes to work, back to the hotel, and plays his PlayStation. Like he just travels with him. Like doesn't go down to the bar anymore, doesn't socialize with his co-workers. He's like, no, I'm going upstairs and playing Death Stranding 2 right now. And it's always fun because like he and I always got along great, but certainly got along better as we got older. But now, once he's become a bit of a gamer, we have an immediate conversation starter. So most of the time I ever hear from him, it's not, hey, how you doing? How's life? He's like, hey, what's this game like? Or like, he's like, I just finished this game. What do you recommend? I'm like, oh, okay. He loves his Assassin's Creeds. He finished Lies of P apparently, which is insane to me. He's currently playing Death Stranding 2. But yeah, it's interesting. It's like similar to that. Like, neither of my parents really were able to share my love of gaming with me as I was growing up. Is what was the whole point of this side tangent. And it's something that is very, very unique to, I think, our generation. Yeah. And kind of the one before us. The one before us was good, but they had like Super Nintendo and, you know, like all those consoles that they can't.
They had arcade games. They can't. Games that they had to pay to play.
Exactly. They can't comprehend that jump to like twin sticks and 3D spaces. Not going to happen. So it's really nice being able to share something that is so important to me with my son. And we get to do it together. And the fact that he's not immediately like ashamed to play games with his dad, when he could be playing them with his mates is awesome. It's so nice. And then on top of that, to have that understanding of us as parents to be like, no, gaming's fun. It's fine. So like the idea of when I was growing up, if I was like, hey, I'm gonna play, I play fucking PlayStation for 4 hours on a Sunday, my parents are like, what the fuck are you doing? Where like where T and I going like, yeah, it's wrong.
I was saying that it used to be like, can I play PlayStation tomorrow? Yeah, until we wake up. All right, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
up again.
Yep. I remember the idea because like this is nostalgia hour. I distinctly remember because I played on my little shitty ass CRT TV that I had in my room, tiny little portable TV, and the highlight was getting to like then go play in the lounge on the bigger telly. And like that was such a like wow moment. Oh my god, my mom's letting me play in the lounge room. This is incredible. When now because that's what the PlayStation is set up. This console's always playing on that telly.
No, the nostalgia thing for me was always.
And James has no consoles in his room. Nothing.
Yeah, I used to play like way back in the day. I used to play online games, and there would be like, I'm expecting an important phone call. Get off. I'm like,
yeah.
Back when dial-up was a thing, and you had to get off the fucking internet to use the telephone.
But with that, to our own credit though, you and I back in the day, we would be up asshole late because we couldn't play during the day because the parents were like, meh. So like now, because James gets to play after school and whatever on the weekends, I'm like, hey bud, we're going to bed soon. He's like, okay, we'll play tomorrow, which is really cool. There's none of that like, oh, okay, cool, and then he's hiding under the covers playing. He's like, no, like because it's understanding. That understanding is that no, we can play games in this house and it's okay, just not right now. He goes,
to be fair, it's hard to hide your PlayStation and television underneath your blanket.
Also true.
It was a lot easier.
No, but I mean with his iPad, right? Like same thing. Because you can play Roblox on the iPad.
Ugh.
So in all that tangent, it's been really, really nice. I really loved it. Granted, the games are a bit shit, and I am a little bit sad at myself that I had to make a Roblox account.
Look, I know. Go and play the Lego Fortnite Odyssey thing. Like, you guys would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, but I also have a very firm stance about him playing Fortnite.
You also had a very firm stance about Roblox.
Yeah, but I'm not the one that broke this. His mum did. So, what I get to do now, though...
Oh, until she lets him play Fortnite.
Yeah, well, no, she agrees with Fortnite, cause yeah. But the advantage I have now, and he doesn't know this, is I can monitor the games he plays in Roblox. Because as far as he's concerned, Daddy loves games. Daddy will play games with me. So he's like, check this game out. And I can play it and be like, no. But with James, whenever I've told him a game he can't play, I always explain why. And then go, if you want to play something like you want to play that, can't play that one, let's find something equivalent. Like I know he wanted to play GTA at some point, and I was like, no, let's play Teardown. That pixely sort of game, like which is like destructible and chaos and driving around and doing nonsense, but it's not like fucking Grand Theft Auto. So like, yeah, there are weird lights there. And as in the chat says, Fortnite's crazy. It has Power Rangers. Yeah, it does. It looks pretty kind of cool, actually. It's the Battle Royale that I have issue with. And the microtransactions. I have issues with microtransaction Roblox too, but his mum's caved on that one, so that's not me. But outside of that, 20 minutes later, I have checked out a title that I was really genuinely keen for. And I wish I could have played it more if my son didn't make me play fucking Roblox this weekend.
So is it Death Stranding 2? Are you ever going to finish that?
No, we're playing that after I finish, yeah. Phoebe and I got back in. But I'll get to that in just a moment. Right now, I want to talk about Mafia, the Old Country. So big thank you to the team over at 2K Australia and Double Jump Communications. We have been kindly provided a review code for the latest from Hangar 13 in the Mafia franchise. Now, Max, when I reached out to our rep, I won't name them just for safety reasons or whatever, It was really cool. I was like, hey, like we're big fans of the franchise. I most certainly am. And
it's very much you so more than me. I dabbled, but you're the
there's something about it. Something about it.
You're the Mafia aficionado.
Would go that far. Like I just enjoy them, and I think they're really great. So I then, sometimes for those playing at home, they may not know how it sort of works in the space. Now, we're very lucky that we've been doing this long enough. We rarely have to send our content into someone after we've done something. There seems to be a trust that we will just get it done. Because no one emails me going, hey, have you done coverage for this anymore? No one does that. No one. But sometimes if we're inquiring about something, especially with people that we may not have, we're building a relationship with, or, as happens a lot, agencies change. There's new faces or staff movements. So an example with this, the gentleman that we've been working with, now we work with him for WWE, which is cool, but that I have a lot of wrestling bona fides that allow me to be a person of interest in that space. With Mafia, I was like, I probably should pull some of the things. So it was really fascinating because throughout the videos that I pulled, which was the unboxing of the Collector's Edition for Mafia 3 that they sent us back in the day, your and my review of Mafia 1, your and my review of Mafia 2, and seeing the time change. Because Mafia 3 came out in 2016. Because Josh and I, former host of the show, founder of For the Players, he and I went to the EB Expo in Queensland. It was Sydney that year. It was in Sydney. And they had a big booth, and we're like, fuck yeah, we're going to go hands-on with Mafia 3. Because at the time, the trailer for Mafia 3 looked fantastic. It looked as if to be this is next step in visual fidelity. Like the motion capture of the faces, immaculate. Wasn't hands-on. The game came out into like 2 weeks, and it wasn't hands-on. It was just a presentation. Bit lame. Played the game, really quite enjoyed it though. Was it perfect? No. I think at the time I certainly looked at it in a much more higher ability up open world RPG or open world Mafia style game, very GTA light, where I really should have been looking at it as more of a old PS3 style, open world game.
Yeah.
So then when it was announced that Mafia 1 got a full remake, I was like, I got to play this. And I did, and so did you, and we both loved it. A lot of the things we adored about it. Now, back to the original story. 2016, so this was the original studio, when it was the posters on the wall, like the salad bowl lights that we made. It was also like so much heavier. And then when I found the review that we did of Mafia, it was in the studio. I was still heavier, but it was this version of the studio, like the equivalent of this back then. So you were a permanent cast at that point. New set had been in place. And then Mafia 2 remaster we played. That was during the COVID years. So there was then onto the online, and then where we are now. So it's interesting to see the length of time and the change within PopC to get to there. But yeah, playing Mafia 1, you and I loved it. It was super linear, and I adored it for it. Because then when we went and played Mafia 2 Remaster, you and I both went, it's cool, I really enjoyed it, but this open world feels empty and useless, and it felt like a bloat to what would be a foundation of a very, very good game. Thankfully, in Mafia the Old Country, they have taken a lot of those criticisms, not from us directly, of course, because that'd be insane, but they have taken a lot of that approach into this title. So it is a lot more similar to that of Mafia 1, in that it is very linear. It is, you move from this to that, the other, although there are transitional events where you'll need to drive or you'll ride a horse or whatever from A to B. It is not free reign in the version of 2 or 3. So the title you play, so Mafia the Old Country, you play as a gentleman by the name of Enzo. You are in Sicily in 1904, I believe. It's super early days. The game starts. This is not really spoilers, but the game starts as you're working under a Caruso. CURUSO. That's the nickname they give you. Essentially, you're a slave that works in mines. You are able to find the opportunity to escape said mines, and in doing so, as you flee this space, you are just fanging it, running and getting out of there, all in cutscenes. You arrive at this house, you bunker down to hide. People chasing you come in. This person, the owners of this establishment, of this place, come out, find out he's a Don. He gets in the fucking face of the dude that's trying to chase you and just tells him to get the hell out of there. And you start working for him. And that is the journey into the Mafia side of the Mafia game. I'm about 2 hours deep, so it's still very early impressions. Once again, I got distracted having to play Roblox.
At least that's a good excuse. I totally forgot you messaged me about it, and I only today.
Yeah, you only saw it today, yeah.
So I've yet to touch it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's all right. It did come out. The game came out on Friday. But
that's the game.
It's one of those things, right? Where like I jumped on 2K, you jumped on EA. You went over and did the Battlefields. I went over and did the Mafias. You know, just kind of divide and conquer. So as of where I'm at right now, about 2 hours in, that linear nature of the game is awesome. Big fan. It does take a lot of that, like, ugh. It's not that I'm having any rough time or hard time with Death Stranding 2, but the game is so good, including the open world aspects of it, that I want to spend more time fucking around in the open world. Like, I want to go deliver unreasonable packages. Near everyone up until where I'm at is 5-star. Just what I'm saying, right? That's the shit I get a kick out of. So having a game that is a bit more like, I'm thoroughly enjoying. Because you go in and that level is super old school. It's like, you have one goal and the goal is this. And I go, okay, let's go do exactly that. It plays well. Overall, the image, the visuals of the game are solid. So it's running on Unreal Engine 5. And one of the things that I have particularly noticed in 5 is its ability to create, render, and deliver exceptional vistas. Everywhere outside of where you're standing, like once that field of distance is kind of set up, it looks immaculate. Its terrain detail looks so good. Now, I'm playing it on quality mode. Sorry, I take that back. I'm playing on performance mode because performance at 30 and quality at like 60. Sorry, and performance at 60, so much better. Because the 30 feels really juddery. Now, I don't know whether that's me just becoming more adapted to 60, which is very likely. However, the cutscenes appear to be in 30. Because the second you hit cutscenes, it feels a bit chuggy. Or it's certainly not. My TV is reading it at 60 using, the game hub or whatever the TV has built in. But I don't believe it's 60 because it slows down something fucking fierce when you get into cutscenes. I'm going to use the term judder because I can't think of another term. But there are times that transitioning between animations or actions gives the character like a little shudder. And then as it returns to like it's, like say you pick up a box and you put the box down, and then as your character returns to its, the neutral stance, it goes and then kind of like pops in.
Is it kind of like a frame break or like an animation?
A frame break. Absolutely. That's probably the term I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a frame break. But outside of that, like I'm not seeing any major frame rate dips. But then again, I've not gone into presumably in the later game, there's big fuck off set pieces and stuff. We're not there yet. Sorry to Mute's question in the chat, does it look good with the foliage? Yeah, the foliage looks fantastic. Like anything that is a distant vista looks great. Close up, it looks fine. It looks really good. The thing that is working within Old Country to make it look so good is admittedly, I think, very similar to that of Death Stranding. Lighting is key. Good lighting in a game allows anything to look fantastic because you can get those more natural shadows, those more natural, shapes and things look more natural. Saying that though, in performance mode, the anti-aliasing on the shadowing, disgusting. It's fucked. But what a small nitpick overall. Everyone speaks in like early 1900s Italian accents, so it does kind of sound like like everyone's taking the piss. But it's the close it's Englishified Italian for those that don't want to play the game in like subtitles or with non-English voice acting. Story itself's reasonably compelling. Where I'm at the moment is still just building myself up in the space. Just, starting as that, coming in as doing grunt work as I build up into becoming a foot soldier and so on in the Mafia. Any questions or anything that you'd have for it, Max?
No, not really. I think you've done a really good job at the moment. I saw the trailers, and then when they said that it's a more linear experience, I'm like, this is what I want. As much as I found, like, don't get me wrong, with 2 and 3's more openness, it had that like old school GTA vibe. And then playing it, I'm like, it's not quite there. And it did seem to slow everything down a lot. Like it really hindered the progression of the story.
Well, because one of the biggest problems with open world games, and you and I have talked about this before, is it removes all that urgency. Where you're like, oh my god, this is so insane. I'm gonna wander over here for a little while.
I think Fallout 4 is the biggest one of that. It's like, do you want to save your son or build some houses and bang your followers?
I'm gonna bang my followers.
Yeah. So seeing this be, hearing that this is more linear.
Sorry, you cut out again. Sorry.
Oh, really? I haven't turned the noise gate off. But yeah, for whatever reason, I just went.
Must be the.
I got your message. I got your message, and you're like, "Hey, we got it." I'm like, "Cool," and then I completely forgot about it for 3 days. What happened was Hadley jumped on to play Astrobot, and I'm like, "Ooh, Mafia."
Yeah.
I downloaded that.
That's fine.
So yeah, that's my game this week. I think.
In the chat.
From what I've heard, it's like a tight 12.
Yeah,
15,
about 12 hours is what I've heard too. Yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah. Love it.
Big fan. Like that's the shit that. We're old gamers. So a game that's linear and is 10 to 15 hours. Oh, that's hot.
The 10 to 15 hour game is the equivalent of the 90-minute movie.
Oh man. So nice.
Love it.
Mute asked in the chat, any collectibles like 3 buff Jesus? The collectibles so far, so one of the novelty things in 3...
Are they pin-up girls again?
No. So the novelty in 3 were the Playboy magazines, albums, and there was a third. So as of right now, the collectibles are like standard notes and stuff to sort of learn about the world. They're because obviously you're in Sicily, you're in Italia, and Christianity is such a strong part of Italian culture, particularly in that time, and particularly within Sicilian culture. The thing that you build up and find are like charms to add to your rosary, and that's where all the buffs come from.
Okay,
it's a really cool idea. So as you kind of just add to this elaborate little rosary you kind of have, which is really cool. Yeah, and throughout the collectibles, there's different places you can pray at, and they will give you buffs, or you'll find some of the charms there as well. Yeah, that alone is just a little kick. I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. Just as a different way to look at it, but yeah, still certainly early days to give any sort of final opinion on it. But for what it is and for what I've played, thoroughly enjoying it. Because it's exactly what I wanted. Having it also being played in the early 1900s is also fun. In the same way that playing like Kingdom Come Deliverance is really fun. Because of that, it's a slightly different way of looking at that kind of world. Granted, we play a lot of fantasy games, but many of them are set in fantasy RPGs, right? So they are all like wizards and gnomes and shit. where Kingdom Come Deliverance, where Kingdom Come Deliverance is, it's Bohemia. This used to be the Czech. This will become the Czech Republic. So it's real world, quote unquote, fantasy. It's like more that middle age, sort of dark age sort of space. Where here is the same. It's like it's a Mafia game. It is a crime game, but it is set in such a different time that you're not going to be able to, it's very similar to like why Red Dead Redemption 2's online didn't work in the same way that the GTA Online did, because the restrictions of what you can do in a Western game, in an online Western game, is different to that of GTA. With GTA, you can have hover bikes and big fuck off dumb things, but you are forever restricted by what technology was available in the Western Front. Not that Western Front, because that's a war reference, not a Western, American Western. Where Mafia has that same thing. Like, you're not going to get big fuck off guns. You're not going to get to do an M16 Scarface like Sailor Little Friend.
Here's the lag of me catching up. Did you mean Western Frontier as opposed to Western Front?
Correct. Yep.
Cool, Brad.
As I said Western Front, I'm like, that's not right. But Frontier was the word I wanted.
I got like 5 seconds of lag. I'm like, hang on, did he just say something? Western Front.
All along the Western Front. So that alone, like having it in a different time window, is a lot of fun. Just adds a nice little sprinkle of difference to it. But outside of that, let me think. Death Stranding 2, still kicking. I'm now roughly around the Gold Coast in Australia. I have my Coffin hoverboard. I've seen Higgs a couple more times. Tomorrow's doing well. As I've mentioned, I 5-starred pretty much everyone up to where I am. Because when there's moments of like, hey, we're about to do this thing, the DHV Magellan needs to be clean, and like the next mission is just go and have a sleep. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I use that time to clear out my off-roader, whatever the fuck it's called, and just go back to all the ones that I haven't 5-starred, because they're the ones I pick up. It's like, hey, I've 5-starred the animal shelter. Guess what? I'm not picking up anything for the animal shelter. Or if I do happen to pick it up because that sticky gun on my truck just goes, and picks it up. I'm like, I wish there was a way to cancel it from doing that, by the way. Or if there's a setting that I can go only pick up shit from these places. But, that's really fun. Still enjoying that. Story's fantastic. Still loving it. I keep saying still because it's been going on forever. We're probably pushing the better part of 40 hours in the game at the moment. So we have almost doubled Max's playthrough and we're not there yet. But knowing that, as I've discussed before, I know that going in. I've gone into this game going, I'm going to want to play it my way. And playing with Phoebe is also fun. It, as I mentioned earlier in the previous recordings, it does then restrict the time that I can stick into it. However, being able to share that with her is really fun and really enjoyable, because there are a lot of beats, and you and I have discussed this off air. There are a lot of beats within Death Stranding 1 and 2 that hit us in a different way. And being able to share that with her is really powerful. Because it's one of those things, because a big through messaging within both Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2 is grief. And sadly, Phoebe and I have faced a lot of grief even in a handful of years we've been together. And like I've told her, I'm like, playing Death Stranding and experiencing that story again and seeing it from a different angle, because the way I see the world is very different now to then when I played it back in 2019. This is weirdly a little bit of my healing, right? Being able to sit and deal with these quite confronting, emotionally intense scenarios. It would have been, I'd probably have finished the game now if I was playing it by myself, but I think it would be a very different experience. I don't think I'd be enjoying it as much as I am had I not been playing with Phoebe. So not much more to add there, as we're still kicking off on it. But let's get into the section, like an hour later, Jesus Christ. Let's get into the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
They are becoming one of us.
One
Sony
of
has
us.
reiterated Sony has reiterated its intentions to take more ownership and control of Bungie as it looks to fully integrate the Destiny 2 Marathon developer into the PlayStation Studios family. Following a string of controversies and failures, the studio update was shared by Sony CFO Lin Tao in the Q&A section of the company's latest financial earnings call. Tao said,
Hang
and
on.
this is transcribed.
Wasn't that CFO Hiroki Totoki?
Didn't he take over when Thingo left?
All right, keep talking. I'll have a look.
Transcribed by VGC that while Bungie was allowed, quote, a very independent environment, end quote, when the team was acquired, that freedom is now, quote, getting
Oh,
lighter.
he's now president and CEO
Yeah, he
of
stepped
Sony
up.
at large. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you.
As it becomes more part of PlayStation Studios and integration is proceeding. Tao then clarified, quote, so in the long term, if you can see this as an ongoing process, the direction for Bungie is to become part of PlayStation Studios. Sony acquired Bungie with the intention of it helping the firm in its live service push throughout the PS5 generation, but its efforts have been thwarted by its own internal problems. Destiny 2 isn't what it used to be, with dropping player numbers for every expansion, and it's also had to go through waves of layoffs, but the most controversial problem the team faces is the accusation of plagiarized art in Marathon. In the same earnings call, Tao stated that Sony expects Marathon to release by the end of this fiscal year, which finishes at the start of April 2026. Quote, but having said that, this is not a commitment. No official announcement has been given yet, end quote. Tao explained that, quote, modifications are development and the intention is to communicate a new release date in the autumn. Sony CFO was also asked if she thinks Marathon could be cancelled altogether. Quote, we are now fixing the problems. We believe this launch will happen. If this launch is cancelled, we'd need to do the revision of the valuation. However, as of now, this is not expected. Marathon originally scheduled for launch for PS5, Xbox Series, and PlayStation and PC, on the 23rd of September 2025, but was then delayed. Without mentioning the controversies surrounding the stolen artwork, Bungie said the extra development time will allow it to, quote, craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion, end quote.
Well, as the more
The Bungie file.
Bungie file, I guess. I was going to say it nicer, but I guess that's true. This is probably more of a, like, I'll throw some thoughts in at the end, but where are you?
I thought they would have been integrating them a lot earlier than what they have been.
Mm-hmm.
They have given Bungie a very long. I think that to a degree has kind of bitten them in the butt, bit them in the ass a little bit. I mean, they're spot on with player count for Destiny. For Destiny has dropped substantially since the end of their Light and Dark story. I mean, I bounced off at the end of it. I know a lot of the friends that I still had playing Destiny also bounced at the end of it. They're like, yep, they reached their 10-year promise. Time to dip. The Marathon problems. I mean, I didn't like the look of the game anyway. Before we all found out that it was stolen artwork. It's going to be rough. They've got a lot of... I think a lot of the goodwill that Bungie once had with their player base, they no longer have. And they're going to have to work real hard to get that back. And I don't know if Marathon's going to... It makes sense that Sony's bringing them in and reining them in. And it does feel like they're starting to question their... Like, did we spend too much money on this, knowing that all of the live service games that we've kind of released have been not to our expectations? Yeah, rough.
Yeah, look, I'm in a similar space to you, and I know what we're about to say, like what I'm about to say, and what you've just said is not new information for those that have listened. But it is fascinating how intensely Bungie has declined since this. Now, granted, I have also mentioned this before as well, that I do believe that Bungie, I wouldn't quite say like charlatans or tricksters, but they have certainly misled 3 different organizations into buying them. And all of them have acted in a way that has demonstrated their inefficiencies as a studio. Whether it be, you know, the creator of fucking Halo, Microsoft's biggest at the time flagship franchise to then let them go and not buy them or whatever. To then them go to Activision, to then after that, not even without the completion of their agreement, to go, you can go and take your fucking game with you. Not a good sign. PlayStation buy them at an inflated price. Then, where are we now? All the things that the Bungie were purchased for, no longer in action. They were brought in to be the shepherds of PlayStation's games as a service, and now they're not that at all. The ripple effects of Bungie has greatly impacted many of the live service games that were in the works. Rightly or wrongly so, that depends on where you sit. The big thing when they were purchased was, we are owned by PlayStation, but we are independent in every other sense of the word. We do what we want, how we want, when we want. And that is bold. And I believe that is the reason that they've had such a shit time up until this point. Because for whatever reason, the C-suite of Bungie are incapable of controlling their team. Whether it be to not create a location or a workplace of abuse and bad action, or even to have creative integrity with the amount of plagiarism, accusations, and confirmations. Is it what PlayStation would have envisioned when they bought them? No. But it needs to happen. They need to be in the fold. And what I see happening, and it's going to be gross, and it's going to be sad for everyone else, but Bungie will be stripped of its parts, and those that are of value will be taken over to that new studio that they put together. I forget who was leading it, but I think one of the leads of Bungie stepped out to do this new studio that they've put together. Gummy Bears, whatever the fuck it was. And then Bungie will then be left to look after Destiny until they choose to end it, or support Marathon until no one cares. But the future progressions of Bungie as a franchise are pretty done. That's the way. Now, granted, I don't have any insider knowledge. I don't have any understandings of how business is run. I'm just a dude on the internet. But you cannot, I can assure you that Bungie has not returned any profits since their purchase, I should say. Because as you've mentioned, in that time, dwindling player numbers, stacks of layoffs, they are not doing good, and then they're not doing well. And they're also not making good content, which is why they were purchased. Tough stuff. So you've done a lot of reading though, Max, as well as I've been chatting.
Yeah, so what happened? So Bungie was founded around the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah, and
they released Marathon, Myth, and Oni between 94 and 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft acquired them in 2001.
Yeah, because they were making Halo originally for Mac, and then Microsoft went,
Yep. In 2007 was when they pieced out and made themselves an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we're going private, see you later. In 2010, they announced that they were entering a 10-year publishing agreement with Activision Blizzard. That all new IP developed by Bungie would be owned by Bungie. They would just use them as a publishing arm, essentially.
Post Halo, that makes sense, because Halo was their idea. Once again, further confirming that Microsoft have never, ever made a successful franchise themselves. They have bought every single one of them.
And then in 2019, Bungie terminated its publishing deal with Activision after 8 years, as per their agreement. It said that they could peace out early. And again, they retained all their rights to Destiny, and they would self-publish all their future installments and expansions, which is why it then went to Steam back in 2019, because they didn't have that partnership with Blizzard anymore, so they didn't have to use the Battle.net nonsense. And then, what was it? In January 31st of 2022 was when Sony announced its intent to acquire Bungie for 3.6 billion. So yeah, it's just it's one of those things. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think they will shut Bungie down as a whole.
Not immediately.
I think they will still keep, for better or worse, but Bungie is a recognizable name.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's very similar. Look, I would also argue that BioWare is a known name, but the value of that name is non-existent these days. And I would argue that Bungie is on the exact same trajectory.
At the moment, yeah, I'll agree with that. So it'll be interesting to see.
Because even you, right? Even you, as we've discussed it before, even you as a Bungie fan or a Destiny fan, like even the idea of just that gunplay for you is so strong that it should take you to Marathon, but it's not.
Not entirely, because Marathon is a completely different style of game.
But it's still a shooter though, like, and the foundations of Bungie's skill set is shooters. Like Halo, like as much whatever you say about those early Halos, they play fucking great. Destiny 2 plays great.
I love Halo games. They do, but I played Destiny more because to an extent it is an RPG with shooters, with shooter elements. This
Marathon's a looter shooter, isn't it?
Marathon's a looter shooter, like an extraction looter shooter. It's not a looter shooter like Borderlands. It's an extraction shooter like Escape from Tarkov and I don't like those styles of games. Although if you put that game in Call of Duty and
apparently we love it.
Apparently we love it. So, like, am I a hypocrite? Yes.
Yeah.
But
once again, we've been doing this for 400 episodes. We have contradicted ourselves endlessly.
Do what I want.
We don't have integrity. We do what we want. If Bungie allowed to do it, we're allowed to do it. No, yeah. Someone buy us for $3 million? That'd be rad.
Speaking of doing what we want,
yeah, let's get into this next piece. Not so smooth. An executive within Sony has admitted the company's expansion into the live service sector with the recent PS5 and PC titles is, quote, not entirely going smoothly, end quote. Editorial. Duh. During the film's latest financial earnings call, Sony CFO Lin Tao commented on PlayStation's latest efforts in the sector, saying the cancellation of Concord after release and the delay hit Marathon have generated, quote, somewhat negative news, end quote. Tao then went on to explain that PlayStation's transformation towards the live service sector is not, quote, entirely going smoothly, but from a larger term perspective, if you look at the changes over 5 years, you see that there has definitely been change, end quote. She then points to how in the last 5 years, Helldivers 2, MLB The Show, Gran Turismo 7, and Destiny 2 have all started to contribute, quote, to sales and in profit in a stable manner, end quote. In a separate presentation slide, Sony revealed its live service revenue is steadily growing, and during Q1 of 2025's fiscal year, its titles contributed to more than 40% of first-party revenue. Despite these revenue advancements, the Sony executives still believe its live service efforts aren't going well. Tao then continued, quote, of course we recognize that there are still issues, many issues, so we should learn lessons from mistakes and make sure that we introduce the live service content where there's less waste and it's more smooth. Tao's full, end quote. Tao's full comment reads as below. For Q1, the live service ratio was about 40%. For the full year, it's a little less, probably between 20 to 30%. In terms of the transformation, it's not entirely going smoothly, but from a larger term perspective, if you look at the change of the years, you can see that definitely been change. Of course, we recognize, yeah, that's the rest of what we read earlier. It's the full blown that. Concord and Marathon both appear to be fueling this perspective, as the former was taken offline permanently shortly after release, while the latter has been hit with accusations of plagiarized art. As a result of the issues at Bungie, the developer is being integrated into PlayStation Studios, as we mentioned a moment ago, and Sony will be taking more control. Over the past few years, Sony has also cancelled high-profile live service projects, like The Last of Us multiplayer and the 2 others from Ben's studio and Bluepoint Games, respectively, the latter of which was said to be working on their God of War title. It's interesting space to be, Max, because it's them acknowledging that it's not going well, but it's also not information we didn't already know. I'm interested. I understand that it is technically a news story.
So this comes into,
but it doesn't really feel like one because it's something we should all know.
So this plays into their earnings call. So one of the key takeaways from this was over the last few years, one criticism that's been leveled at the PlayStation business is its razor-thin margins. But in the 3-month period ending the 30th of June this year, the division has generated an operating income of $1.04 billion.
Damn, who's still playing the division?
That's an increase of 127% year on year.
See, but on top of that as well, and it should be noted that the PlayStation 5 generation is more profitable than all of the previous 4 generations combined. So it's not as if it's a profitability is the concern. It's the step into the live service space because that is where the most profit is currently. And on top of that, if you look at, I believe it's the top 10 most successful games of the in recent times, majority of them and the revenue that comes with them are live service titles. And many of them are not being held by PlayStation.
Yeah, of course, because why would you make one sale when you could make multiple sales?
Correct. So even though I still believe that PlayStation are making the right decision by wanting to step into the space, however, their all or nothing approach they seem to have had earlier, even down to the, it's a different bucket of money, it won't impact studios. Hey, studios that are used to making anything else, do you want to can you make these live service games? Even though it goes against entirely everything you do as a department and why we purchased you? I think this could have been an effective delivery had they scoped it different. Had they either worked in a second party capacity with a bunch of spaces where they can own the IP, they can own the title, but it's developed somewhere else, big win. Let your first parties do what they do best. By extension to what we were discussing before, as Bungie's coming in-house, make them make your first-person shooter. So that even though you may be still competing with, Call of Duty, as you said, too big to fail, your Battlefields, etc., don't fight in that field. Make your SOCOM, make a Resistance, maybe or make something new. I'd rather something new, if I'm being honest. Use that resource there, because as we said, Destiny's kind of lost. It's kind of done. It's not entirely done, but we're in that death rattle, right? We are approaching that end point. Marathon is looking risky. I think they will still release it at some point in time, because I assume there's some even from we bought you, release it, you fucks.
Yeah.
And then the success of that will then dictate what they do next. I still believe that, Jim Ryan, although he had been able to do many awesome things during that time, particularly keeping the PS5 stocked and sellable during a worldwide pandemic, his decisions, and therefore by extension Herman Hulst's decisions around these games as a service or live service titles, is disgusting. And even though I'm not someone that's going to say Herman Hulst should lose his job, I don't want that at all. But take into for those those want to pay attention, notice where he is. He was co-CEO for a hot minute, and then he wasn't. That's a pretty hefty demotion, right? That tells you where they're going. That tells you the thoughts of Sony pushing down into PlayStation, and it's a fucking shame, because it could have been cool. It could have been good. It would have been cool. Sadly, not though. I do hope that by them acknowledging it, it does rebuild some larger faith, I guess. I don't know whether it'll assist or detract from the PlayStation's going third party shit with that whatever, which is still nothing. But we'll wait and see. Plus, they're busy. They got other things to deal with right now.
Yes, it's almost as if Tencent predicted it would face a lawsuit over its Horizon knockoff, Light of Motiram. Just a week after it was made public, Sony plans to sue Tencent over the similarity between the two games. The Light of Motiram Steam page has been overhauled with entirely new artwork and game descriptions. Spotted by the Game Post, its key art, selection of screenshots, and descriptions of mechanics have all been updated within 24 hours. It also now has a planned release window of Q4 2027 as opposed to 2025. But Sony will be working to prevent that. Previously, the key art for the Steam page featured a girl wearing very, very similar headgear to Aloy. Now, as of today, it is a robotic owl that could be a dog, and what could be the form of a dog. In addition, the screenshot reel at the top of the page has been updated with new images. Some of the new shots will certainly still draw comparisons to the Horizon series, but they are far less obvious. Finally, it's been noticed how the game description itself has been updated to feature less of the features and mechanics that are a direct copy of the Horizon universe. The original description read, "In a world overrun by colossal machines, explore the vast open world, build your base of operations, advance technology, train mech animals, and take on formidable bosses, starting from the primitive age of forge a new path of development. Defy the machination, survive with the mechanimals." Sounds like a McDonald's advert, the mechanimals. And then here is the new updated description. "Make smart use of everything around you to stay alive and face off against formidable bosses. Every step is fraught with danger and requires courage. Only by overcoming the challenges of survival can you carve out a place for yourself in this unforgiving land." Not one mention of mechs.
What I love...
Sony...
Oh, sorry, there's more?
Yeah, go.
No, I'll come back at the end.
Sony filed its lawsuit on the 25th of July, claiming, quote, "Tencent's copying of Horizon is so blatant that the public has described it as crazy, insane, and shameless. Sony cited copyright and trademark infringement with its overall goal to prevent Light of Motiram ever releasing. Sony argues that Tencent is trying to trick customers thinking Light of Motiram is the next entry in the series, which could cause, quote, irreparable injury. It now wants $150,000 in damages, access to all of the game's materials so they can be destroyed. It was stated by GameSpot that Tencent approached Sony about using the Horizon, but was denied. Its pitch, if accepted, would have taken protagonist Aloy to Asia for a mobile title, featuring an open world filled with animals inspired by Asian lore.
So, yeah, look, I have dove into this a little bit more since last week, as more information is coming about. It is insane, and it's crazy, and it is shameless. No, but it's remarkable. It's remarkable that it's got to this point. Mostly because on two separate occasions, the first time they were approached and PlayStation went, no. And then they did all this, and then they went back and went, what the fuck are you doing? And they went, but what? This could all go away if you just made it a Horizon game. And they went, no. Understandable, right? Like, granted, for whatever reason, Horizon is considered a very valuable IP within PlayStation, and they have the numbers to back it up. And also Herman Holzboner for it, because it's from his studio. And anything that has been made by not Guerrilla, which includes Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is fine, Lego Horizons, which is average. There's real what that's Forbidden West.
There's that upcoming Tencent Horizon.
It's NCSoft, not Tencent.
Not yet. Sorry,
out of Korea. Yeah, but even then, we haven't heard about that in a long ass time. So is that still happening? So like, I understand that there was certainly a perception, at least externally, that PlayStation would be interested in sharing that IP, and it does feel very similar to. What was that team? Was it Sly? There was a team that started making a sequel to a game. Oh, no, it wasn't Sly. It was Sonic Mania. Where there was a team literally making a Sonic game, and then Sega came up and went, whoa, can you stop making that and come work for us, and you just make the game with us? And I assume that was what they expected, because there is precedent within the space to do so. But even in the selling point, apparently the team at Tencent were like, oh, all our staff, they're fucking massive Horizon fans, man. They're super keen. they'd love to. Like, you're not helping your case. They have made it look so bad. And I don't think them changing images, changing descriptions is going to help them right now. I think it's done. They're going to get hit, ideally. However, PlayStation has quite a strong business relationship with Tencent. Are they willing to put that at risk or to confront it in such a way? I don't know. But we jokingly in our chat, even the new little creature they put in the picture just kind of looks like Astrobot. What's your thoughts on this bad boy, Max? Like, we're now with a bit more information.
I was so obvious that this was going to happen. I have no idea. But, you know, it is what it is. Crazy town.
Yeah, that's more of a general update then, because there's not much more we can really add.
You put in the chat, sounds like a Nintendo Power World situation. I think the Nintendo Power World situation is slightly different because Nintendo literally fucking changed their patents during the course of their litigation to try and get this taken down. Like, don't get me wrong, Power World is fucking Pokemon with guns, man. Like, it is 100% that, but how they're trying to get them seems a little bit underhanded, in my opinion.
If you're ever interested, go have a look into... Oh, what a weird thing to recommend. Go look into the lawsuits around Apple and IBM back in the day, because that's where a lot of the things you'll need to know about heading into things like this. When it comes to IP infringement, a lot of it appears to be based around look and feel. Like, does it look the same? Does it feel like... If you are, as a general consumer, if you were to look at this, would you go, oh, I think that's a Horizon game?
But the way their patents are worded, it's
but with Nintendo, it's a little different, because you go, that does look like that. But once again, that is still subjective. The look and feel cannot be entirely captured. And there is also like a fine line between, like, things can look similar, but there has to be like at least 10% difference or whatever. Nintendo are doing, they are shaping their patents to make it a more secure legal path.
Which is crazy, because it would be like the Unreal Tournament guy putting a patent on the TDM game mode that no one could ever use remotely similar to that. Like, it's bizarre that they're using...
It's the Nemesis system. Patent it and then never use it again, you fucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
It's just, it's a really bizarre, and that's why they filed all their lawsuits in Japan, where patent infringement is a little bit more iffy than where it is in the world as well. Yeah,
so Mute in the chat goes, so it's more IBM and Apple. Yeah, it would be. So the issue back then was an issue with the OS systems, right? They're like, hey, Apple's stealing this, and the idea is like they are blatant copies of one another in many, many ways. But yeah, it's more around the look and feel when it comes to IP sort of setups. But shit, we're going long tonight, Max. We start earlier and we end up finishing pretty much the exact same time.
I mean, we didn't start until 7, so
yeah, it's not too bad. It's been an hour and a half. All right, quick bits.
We are at the end.
We are at the end. That's those two things you already mentioned from Battlefield. PlayStation was the driving force behind Helldivers going to Xbox. Do you have more information on that, or is that just one sentence?
That is from the was it Arrowhead? Arrowhead's the guy who do. Yeah, they basically said PlayStation was the one who said go take it over there.
Sweet.
It wasn't us. It was PlayStation.
Happy with that. Now I understand you have put this in incorrectly, because I don't think a sentence that would be of note would be PS5 surpasses 80 units sold.
On my end, it says a million.
Mine doesn't. Mine just says 80. So I assume you meant 80 million.
Yeah.
80 million units have been sold. Good number. Great number.
It's catching to the PS3.
Yeah, and it's just going to keep going because no one's buying Xboxes. And finally, Hell Is Us. The demo is available on PS5 as of the 12th of August. That game looked sick. That was the cool little polka dotty looking dude out of the second Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You know, there's the guy that he's a white dude black dot face. Yeah, it looks sick. The game looks cool. I want to check it out. I'll play the demo. It's like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something else that was in this list that caught my attention that I forgot. No, it's gone. Absolutely gone.
All right. Upcoming titles for this week. On the 5th of August, we have Echoes of the End, PlayStation 5. We have Fresh Tracks, PS5. Ra Ra Boom, PS5, PS4. And Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 coming to PS5.
Oh, yeah.
On the 14th of August, we have Dorf Romantic, PS5, PS4. Lost Twins 2, PS5. I've spelt this wrong, but I've put Medine in FL26, PS5. That's Madden. And Midnight Murder Club, not Clib, is coming to PS5 also on the 14th.
Were you on a rush today?
God, you can tell I typed these out.
Yeah.
Topland Arcade Collections Volumes 1 and 2 are both coming out, PS5, PS4. And lastly, on the 15th of August, we have Bendy, Lone Wolf.
So that would
PS5.
be a sequel to the like Bendy and the Ink Machine or whatever that game is. You know, you ever seen the Bendy games?
No.
They're kind of like those very character horror, similar to like Five Nights at Freddy's sort of space.
Gross.
Yeah. James would probably want to play it. Because like that's the other thing I had to do, right? So with PlayStation Stars done and dusted, I had to I've got like 8,000 coins left. I could do something with these. So I started I'll cash them in and I'll buy something with them. I ended up buying a game for James, and I'm like, you little shit. You're lucky I love you. Ugh.
That's a start.
Yeah. But either way, that does bring us to the end of this week's episode. Big thank you, as always, for joining us. We do appreciate you, each and every one of you taking the time to come hang out with us, come chat with us, even when we go long like this, which is nice and good. Also, just want to put it out there. Relatively new friend of the show, Joshua La Rosa. He rocked up a little while ago. Been in the chats here and there. Good dude, great dude. Been checking out his pod over this week. So with me driving across the city, across the state for work, I needed something. So I started listening to his pod, which he recommended a while ago. It's called Dodge Parry Roll. Go check it out on YouTube. Really good chats with him and his mate Vince. There's the episode that caught my attention the most was they essentially do a big ranking of PlayStation IPs. That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a big chat about the future of, like where like how handheld gaming's coming back, this, that, the other. Really good insight. We've mentioned it before, but I absolutely will have to have him on the show for more of the players, where we can really just deep dive into a single topic.
Hang on, that depends on what was ranked number one.
I don't recall the top of my head right now. Dude, my Ritalin hard one off and my brain is melting out of my ears. That's the only downside of doing longer shows, is that the meds don't last long enough. So the start of the show seems really coherent, and then it goes, like just about when the news kicks in. Especially today, because the news took about an hour to get into. But yeah, normally if we get into the news a bit earlier, we might be all right. Which is helpful, because the meds are working when I need the best brain. When it's talking about the games, reviewing them, all the ins and outs, like actual critical thought, that's when it's helpful.
When you don't need to read from a sheet.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, be sure to go check them out as well if you need a bit more pod in your day. Yeah. Oh well, let's get out of here, Max.
Alrighty, everybody. You know the drill. This PlayStation conversation happens every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on Tubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, or have any categories or issues you want us to cover, let us know. Check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, X. All of those links can be found in the.
Look, it is fun to do like news topics and stuff and reviews. It's very standard, but like I'm more than happy to deep dive into a topic if there's something that people want our opinion on.
You used to a long time ago, back when Josh was on the when Josh was on the show. You used to do essentially a Q&A at the end. Now, granted, a lot of those questions were just from me that I just posted on a weekly basis. But
well, back then it was interesting. So the
short form little.
Yeah, we would start the show with what we've been playing, like how we've been, what we've been playing. Then we would get into the news, and the news was a lot shorter. With the idea that we would then go into one major topic and just go deep on it. That was fun for like the first stretch, but then thinking of topics was difficult. not with this not being our full-time gigs, we couldn't really give it the time and dedication we'd want to really hone in on the topic and know a lot about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So instead, we chose to expand the news and free ourselves up to have deeper and heavier conversations around those news topics, rather than just regurgitating for the sake of regurgitating them. Because my understanding and what I hope people come to this show for is for what we have to say. Because if you want news, there's thousands of other better places to find it. But what I hope you come for is what we have to say, our thoughts on our opinions on it, on the games, etc., whichever. But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist. We can watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening to us on podcast servers, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Watch us on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, which I did go and check the Patreon earlier. Not much money in there. But I want to get you an arm. I want to get you a mic arm. Because I think that might help with your.
I have an arm. I have two.
But I think a third wouldn't hurt. I think
things I could do with a third arm.
I think being able to get the mic up in your face may help with the cutting out, because like you're not having to then lean uncomfortably or directly cover your face like that.
That's why I have it off to the side.
So if we can kind of set up so it can sit like right under your face without. It's probably on the cards. Yeah, you just look like mine. It'll be fun. But yeah. There you go. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players. So this is non-riddle brain. I'm like halfway through one thought, I'm having another thought. And then I'm like, I'll probably go back to that thought. And now we're here.